slicing a cube. Come on, y'all, let's discuss, that's the frame. Dropping hitters to these putting lame to shame. Hilarious for real, got the nation on the buzz. Got them tuning in like they addicted to the love. She the queen of the trends, no fake, no frauds. Unpacking every topic, flipping all the odds. From city lights sparking to the Capitol walls. Tootie got the mic, they just stalling in the hall. She a vibe, make Chicago proud on the route. Windy City wit, knocking all the clout out. Raw but so rich, intellect on the brim. Swimming through the chaos, never decrease the dim. Come on, y'all, let's discuss, that's the frame. Breaking it down, keep it sharp like a blade. Hilarious for real, got the nation on the buzz. Tootie talk sense, spreading heat like the sun. Kanye level antics, nah, she's supreme. Stitching words together like a courtroom dream. Politics on canvas, brush strokes vivid. Tootie's broad vision turning limits to liquid.
Hey y'all, hey. Okay. The intro went a little bit longer because I could not get my camera going, y'all. I'm trying to make sure y'all can hear me. Yeah, it was raining here yesterday. First of all, I had my live schedule for yesterday to talk about the Funky Dineva, and we're gonna talk about forgiveness, but that's coming up tonight at 6:00. They're scheduled to be a special guest who is Neo X, who's another YouTuber. So we hope to start collaborating more in the future. So we have that scheduled for tonight. And let's see. Oh, and I'm also going to drop the link tonight for the viewers who watching. If y'all want to jump on and say something, share your personal stories, or whether you're going to agree or disagree with what we're saying. Also, just to let you subscribers know, because I don't know who's coming over from if Neo's subscribers or how she set it up. I had an echo. But for the ones who's going to be new to Neo, that we already, I didn't want somebody on here that we just agreeing, we both agreeing and saying the same thing. So me and Neo agree on some things and we don't agree on the other. But I feel like that's going to be good conversation, good discussion, and to me, a discussion don't have to be you agreeing all the time. Because what's the point of having another personality on if we gonna agree and say the exact same thing? So I already know coming off from the back, Neo definition of forgiveness and her requirements for forgiveness is different than mine. So we're gonna y'all tune in at 5:00 my time, 5:00 Central Time, and we're gonna talk about that tonight. So have y'all Tito's ready. Well, mine's gonna be Tito's because I can't fuck around with tequila no more. I don't even know if I told y'all about my birthday story. That tequila, baby, had me out there rolling around on the ground, stuff falling off air. Okay, I said, see, that's why I don't do tequila no more. That's why me and tequila don't get down like that. And Hennessy is, I didn't left Hennessy alone because that brown liquor. So that's tonight, yeah. But come on, y'all, let's discuss. I don't know if y'all seen Shannon Sharpe had a court date. I said I haven't seen it on the news. I haven't seen no YouTubers talk about it. The only way I knew because the show Law and Crime that does a lot of crime cases, popular crime cases, they did they had a video about it, and I was like, I didn't see this on the news. I haven't seen an article on it or nothing. So he just had a court date on July 9th. Now, it was a couple of odd things. First, that nobody was reporting on it is one of the odd things. Second, her attorneys didn't show up. The accuser attorney didn't come to the court date. That's the second thing that was odd. The third thing that's odd is that the couple of sites that did report on it, the news outlets that reported about this court date, is just saying her attorneys. But when she originally filed this, Tony Buzzbee was her attorney. So I'm like, Tony Buzzbee, that's a pretty big name. He got all the cases, the Jay-Z case and the one whose Jay-Z is suing. So I'm like, why? Did she change attorneys? And I don't have an answer for that. That's what the question that I'm asking. Did she change attorneys? Because they just saying her attorney. Everybody know Tony Buzzbee is a big name. Everybody know Tony Buzzbee. So why his name not is no longer attached to this case, and why is it just saying her attorney? Then another thing that was odd is that they pushed the court date back. So let me go into details and go ahead and tell you. I'm not gonna pull anything up. I'm just for the new people who's tuning in and watch when it's 11 o'clock, 11, 12 o'clock show. This is gonna be short and sweet. And usually I don't pull anything up because I'm on lunch and my big back ass got to go eat. Okay. Now I'm quite sure y'all remember the whole Shannon Sharpe. It's the white lady, she's white, that he started dating when she was 18, 19, that he started dating. And she is a legend that he R-worded her. I want to say they was together roughly 2 years. And, it's the tape that she dropped the recording of him saying, oh, yeah, big black man choking you, just choking a small white woman. And seems like that's the play things that they would do. Maybe some 50 shades of gray going on up in there, but that's what it seems like. But she alleging that he R-worded her one time. I think it was one time, yeah. And she was suing him for 50 million. Y'all could drop down in the comments, let me know, 50 million, 60 million, something like that. So of course Shannon is adamantly denying it. And he said he's going to fight these charges. But then it came out that he did offer her a settlement. So that was that. So they had their first court date. And her attorney didn't show up. And only one of his attorneys showed up, but it wasn't his main attorneys. It's like the main attorney sent this attorney to stand in because they was busy with other cases. And according to the Law and Crime Show, there was an attorney on there talking about this. And what he said was that another thing that is odd about this case is that when she initially filed, when the accuser, usually when somebody files a civil case, that the plaintiff has, the person that they're accusing has like 21 days to respond. And then after 21 days, sometimes the judge, if they don't respond, sometimes the judge will just enter a default judgment against them because they didn't respond. So they couldn't find any court records where Shannon Sharpe attorneys or anybody representing Shannon Sharpe responded to the initial court filing. And they said that's odd, and because the judge also didn't acknowledge it. So that's one odd thing. And the judge on July 9th with this first court case also said it does not reflect good that the victim attorneys didn't show up. So don't know what's going on with that. That if she replaced them, if they're deciding not to pursue the case, or they said what could be happening is that they're working in mediations in the background and hoping that they could come up with some type of settlement before the next court date. Now, they did ask for extension, and they asked for a 45-day extension. The attorney who discussed this also said that is odd because 45 days is a long extension. Usually, extension will be 7 to 9 days, maybe 2 weeks. And it's odd because Shannon Sharpe attorneys agreed to this 45 days, like that both attorneys agreed to this 45 days, because usually the victim's attorney, the accuser's attorney, they get paid if you win the case type of thing. But Shannon Sharpe attorneys, most of them are hourly. So usually they'll fight to have a speedy case and a speedy process because they don't want to pay that money. And it's odd that he said how adamant he is about fighting this, but then agreed to push it back for 45 days when, because her attorney wasn't there, he could have went and be like, no, I don't want to extend it. And if I do, let's extend it for a week because we need to get this over and done with. I already done lost my ESPN deal because y'all know once this case came out, he was up for, I want to say like $100 million contract or 200 million, one of those numbers that he was up to get for a show. But they dropped them because ESPN is connected to Disney, and Disney, they were like, we can't have these kids. We're a family show. and you over here messing around with your 50-year-old ass, messing around with these 19-year-old girls, and now they're accusing you of the R word, and you're a big black man choking on this little white woman. So the contract is not, and I think I know he's still dropping episodes on Club Shay Shay. So besides that, the 45 days, they extended it for 45 days. And I said, it seems like this is slowly trying to vanish up out the news. I know Diddy, everybody went wild with Diddy and all the news are focusing on Diddy. But it seems like this may just slip up under the radars because nobody even said nothing about the courtroom. That did see one news outlet. It's a 2-minute video that reported on it and said that Shannon Sharpe attorneys asked for the media to get out the court. So, you know, I had a problem with them being there, which is crazy because if it's not federal, I think they can't be there. But that was the thing. I don't know. Y'all drop down in the comments, let me know it, because this all seemed a little suspect for me. For him not being them not doing a response within 21 days and nothing happened. No judgment is entered, nothing. But I'm like, oh, I guess when you got the money, but I don't know. I ain't got the money. And then now they're not saying Tony Buzzbee is her attorney. When initially Tony Buzzbee was her attorney, he the one who dropped the recordings of Shannon Sharpe. So, and also that nobody showed up today. Now, Shannon nor the victim showed up, but I think this was supposed to be a situation where the attorneys show up and no attorney showed up for her. That's odd. And then to extend it so far back, and Shannon Sharpe attorneys not even pushed to have a speedy process to get this on done and out the way. That's all odd to me. Now, also, if y'all haven't seen, Tony Buzzbee and Vlad TV gets into it on Piers Morgan TV show. I don't watch Piers Morgan, but I'm gonna show y'all the clip. And what I want to talk about this clip is, to me, if y'all didn't watch my previous video, I talked about the P. Diddy verdict. And when they reported on the closing, I have always said I think he's going to be convicted of the Mann Act. But I felt like the jurors' views on women saying no, or whether they believe Cassie was sex trafficking is going to decide the rest of the charges. But when they said that the prosecutors had all these graphs and charts and the jurors looked like they was getting bored and the defense attorney was just more passionate, voice was loud, blah, blah, blah. I said, for America, majority of America, they more sat along like emotional speakers than logics and trying to follow that shit. So in this interview, I see people with the clip of Vlad TV tears apart Tony Buzzbee. But to me, if you actually listen to what Tony Buzzbee was saying, he was absolutely right. Vlad was wrong, but Vlad was loud and Vlad kept interrupting. And what a lot of people do who don't have a point when you're arguing with them, they'll just switch the subject and then they'll go to something else. And you're like, see, he right on that point. He right on that point. But he never addressed what the man said at the beginning. So I was like, if this was an actual debate, Vlad would have lost. But a lot of people are more saddened with Vlad just because he was loud. And then a lot of people agree with the damn verdict, whether they want to admit it or not. So let me take y'all through and watch. And they are talking about the P. Diddy trial. So let me take y'all through. Okay. What didn't happen here? I told y'all they have changed this layout. Okay. I think it's this. It's on a little clip on Instagram because, like I said, I don't watch Piers Morgan. Oh, that's not even the right one. I'm showing y'all my doggone email. It's only 3 minutes, and we're just gonna go through this little 3 minutes. Then we gonna get out of here. Okay. Yeah.
People that he's representing that were suing, but they decided not to use any of them, which makes me think that.
And that's Tony Buzzbee right there. And of course, I'm quite sure most of y'all know that's Vlad T. That's Vlad from Vlad TV, does all the interviews, been in hip hop for a long time. That's who he is.
There wasn't any real credible, real evidence that they actually did anything wrong in the whole situation. Therefore, there's only two people that were actually used. The only person that was actually that filed a lawsuit that was used in this case was Cassie. And there's over 100 lawsuits. So what does that say? That says the lawsuits are all nonsense. Wrong.
You know, I listened to you. And some of
which of your clients was used in this case?
Let's be clear about something.
Which of your clients was used in this case?
Hey, listen very carefully. If the alleged assault happened in LA, there was nobody flown in, there was nobody coerced and trafficked across state lines, they wouldn't use the client, obviously. These cases that we have filed in New York are filed under a New York statute for sexual assault and sexual abuse. That's completely different than transportation for prostitution or for sexual trafficking, and certainly has nothing to do with RICO. So you just made this grand conclusion that, oh, the U.S. attorney talked to a few of these folks and decided they had no credibility. You are flat out wrong in that respect, because
none of them were used. None of them were used.
And that's what I'm talking about. You see how that's Tony Buzzbee, that's Vlad. Vlad just went through that speech and talking. Now he want to interrupt Tony Buzzbee when Tony Buzzbee make a valid point. His point was completely valid, and Vlad has nothing to say about it. They did not use the other people because they were charging him with sex trafficking. The other people that's who has the lawsuit against him, they was not flown out. They weren't flew out. They didn't get flued out to another state. They wasn't prostitutes who was getting paid. There was somebody who alleged that P. Diddy R-worded them, sexual assaulted them, or whatever, in whatever state they was in. So why would you bring in a victim to testify against about sex trafficking if you wasn't sex trafficked? Is what he said. But Vlad is trying to compound 2 points, trying to say because they didn't use these victims, then these victims, the prosecutor found them not, what they were saying is not valid. That's absolutely not true. It has nothing, one doesn't have anything to do with the other. Now, if that prosecutor, and this was a federal case, so they wouldn't trial him for our word, but if they was trying him for our word, then yeah, they would bring in those victims, but that's not what they was trying him for. They was trying him for sex trafficking. So why would you bring in the R word victim for sex trafficking? You wouldn't. You would bring in the two victims who alleged to be sex trafficked by him.
How am I wrong if none of them were used?
Decided is that there was nothing that happened across state lines, and there was no sexual trafficking, which is what the case was all about. So it has nothing to do with whether these people were credible or not. Their case is a civil case alleging state law claims of assault after being drugged. That was not the case that was brought by the U.S. attorney, and frankly, that's not a case that could be brought by the U.S. attorney, and which is the point
your own client accused Jay-Z and Diddy of raping her when she was 13, and we all saw it was all. And
you see, instead of addressing the point again, he go and talk about something else. So one of your clients, because if y'all remember, he has Tony Buzzbee was representing a girl who said that Diddy and Jay-Z had R-worded her, and then her dad ended up coming out and saying that because she said that her dad had picked her up from the event once it happened, from the party once it happened. And her dad ended up coming out and saying that wasn't true. Some news crew went to her house, interviewed her, and she was saying that, oh, she didn't say that Tony told her to say it, and it wasn't true. So it was a bunch of mess with this one case that he has. So instead of Vlad addressing what he just said, then he's gonna go and talk and deflect right now to another case.
Nonsense. It was absolutely false. It was absolutely false. She said Good Charlotte was there. They weren't there. She was 13 years old. Her whole father said it was all nonsense. Jay-Z sued you over that. Come on. Like you have a long history, not credible
give you a little bit of
information. A long history.
All these broad.
A long history.
You don't even know what you're talking about.
You won a single lawsuit with any of these people you've represented. A single lawsuit.
Literally 30 days ago for $640 million, pal. So don't be telling me about winning lawsuits. More lawsuits.
See? Yeah, he's just asking, did you win a lawsuit with any of these people you represent? Yes, just 30 days ago, I won a lawsuit for $640 million. What did I say? With Diddy? that ain't what you asked. You asked if he won a lawsuit with any of these people. He said, yes, I just won one for $640 million. Another deflection. Instead of going, and that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of headlines of how Vlad tore him down and Vlad won his argument. He actually did not. Vlad didn't know what he was talking about. You're not a lawyer. He is. And he had very valid points that you had no argument against. So you just deflected the entire time.
Than any lawyer in the United States. So I don't hear
with Jay-Z. How many lawsuits have you won against Diddy and Jay-Z?
Oh, and I'm sorry. I'm just not saying. Don't forget to like the video, those in here watching, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
How many lawsuits have you won against Diddy and Jay-Z?
None have went to trial yet, knucklehead. Think about it. They don't just file a case, go to trial. Wait and see.
You won nothing.
Okay, let me.
And then that's another one. He's asking, okay, so how many lawsuits have you won against Diddy and Jay-Z? He said, I haven't went to trial yet. Like, these lawsuits are still pending. We haven't went to trial for not a single lawsuit. So how can you make that a valid point that you haven't won any lawsuits? They haven't you haven't won any lawsuits against Diddy and Jay-Z, because when he just asked if you won a lawsuit, yeah, I just won one for $640 million. Now, well, what about against Diddy and Jay-Z? Well, they haven't went to trial yet. So now his point is, well, you ain't win nothing against Diddy and Jay-Z. I said, this is like talking to a MAGA supporter.
Let me just jump. All right, look,
you're a knucklehead.
The reality is, we're going to find out, right? We're going to find out, Vlad. We're going to find out, Vlad, whether any of these civil cases do end up.
None of them will be won. Maybe one or two will be settled because of their headaches.
Okay,
well, there was 100 people.
The one thing I do think is
Tony Buzzbee, at the end of the day, like he said, that the feds talked to multiple people that he's representing that were suing.
Yeah, so let's go back to the beginning. So I just wanted to show y'all that is who Tony Buzzbee is. That is who was initially the Shannon Sharpe accuser. You know, she's listed as a Jane Doe, but of course Shannon Sharpe dropped her name when he came out with his response video, and she's the OnlyFans model. So, but that's Tony Buzzbee, and initially he was listed as her attorney, who did not show up. But now ain't nobody saying Tony Buzzbee is her attorney. Don't know if she changed attorneys, but that who Tony Buzzbee is, y'all. So I have to get on up out of here, because y'all know. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. Don't forget to tune in tonight, where we're gonna talk about the Claudia Jordan and Funky Dineva situation, but we're also gonna be talking about forgiveness, because to me that's what that is about. Whether or not Claudia should forgive Funky, should she work back with him, and in y'all personal life, what have y'all dealt with, and how do you handle forgiveness? So that's tonight. Make sure your notifications is on so you can see when I go live. And also, I'm dropping the link tonight so you can come up and talk, and we're going to discuss it, all right? We're going to come on, y'all. Let's discuss. Now, I got to get on up out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. I will catch y'all next time. Don't forget to like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on all social media, Tootie Talks, and I will catch y'all next time. Bye.
The light behind you. Soft. Yeah. Scroll in the tube, found a star in the chaos. Tootie spitting facts like a modern day seance. Trending waves, politics in the spotlight. Raw with the wit, hits you sharp like a frostbite. Come on, y'all, let's discuss her anthem, her creed. Breaking down the drama, uncovering the greed. Laugh through the truth, it's enlightenment with flair. Tootie talk sense, ain't no nonsense over there. Come on, we tuned into Tootie's vibe. High energy keeps the convo alive. From scandals to news, she hit it all bright. Tootie taking the mic like she owns the fight. Attention, detention, the trends are her prey. Mix politics with comedy in a slick ballet. Tootie busts through lies like a battering ram. Sharp commentary, she ain't giving a damn. Come on, we tuned into Tootie's